Now it's time for the last round before the merge and determine our 10th place finisher. And it's Dan. This us because Ted made him assume he's safe, but got the outsiders James and Tristan to team up with him to save them. More specifically, James. Or I don't know, might not work. I don't think Dan would trust him again after the betrayal. Could be an example of Ted turning people over to him. Or you could have Dan try to target Ted, but Ted won the battle, getting James to see Dan targeted him earlier. But anyway, now we merge, and Nick returns. He could have had a moment with Lil pushing him and stop blaming himself on Rescue Island, and now he's trying hard to show he can try hard and wants revenge, so he will play the role of swaying people on who to vote for with his pushy personality. He can become kind of a joke, like with Philip Shepard and Caramon. People letting him think he's controlling everything just to satisfy his ego and hide behind a target. Nick returns to the cast of Ted, who's scheming deals with everyone, plain old Tristan connected to James and excited to be back with Ivy, Will, who is trying to be more game-focused and strong. I haven't really cared about Will all season. I have James, Tess, who's loyal to Ellie after last game betrayal and has her friendship relationship with Hunter, Ellie, who's trying to play more friendshiply now after Tess got to her, Hunter, who is trying to start a relationship with Tess. I'll get to that in a bit. Hunter is also playing smarter, more strategically. Finally, there's Alessio and Ivy, who are aligned together because I thought they were cool together in the Elimination Motel back in their season. Their dynamic could have started as Ivy trying to be friends with Alessio, and Alessio not really wanting to finding her annoying. But he realizes he can't make the same mistakes as last time, so he gives in and actually starts to like her. I had the merge at 9 after half the players were eliminated, and now we bring one more back for 10. Let's start. It all starts with Tristan getting 10th after Ellie's alliance paints him as the big threat because of his socialness and bond with Ivy and James. Ted and Nick join, seeing the four-way connection between Ivy, Alessio, Tristan, and non-season 4 tag-along James as a power group. Hunter could be playing to make James his ally and only his, but unfortunately, he gets 9th voted out next. Hunter gets eliminates after Ted gathers his carnival of Chaos Mates characters plus James against that threatening three-way alliance of Ellie, Tess, and him. Hunter was simply more threatening. He was the most sociable and probably won the pre-Ias challenge. Challenge beast like him always goes in Survivor. Like Joe Anglim, might not be an accurate comparison, but I made it anyway. Anyway, this whole season, Hunter and Tess had been getting close together, and this will upset Tess. They will become a couple afterwards. I always preferred Ted with Hunter flung that goth loner and basket case weirdo masquerading as a cool guy connection. I was upset the show broke up one of its only straight couples in Hunter and Ally. I wanted a good end for Hunter. So now he's gone, be with Tess. Nick could be on either side if this conflict. Trying to work with Ellie due to his connection from their season, or wanting revenge against Ellie because Fior is not here. He could think this vote was his move, but Ted is just playing him. He's really Ted's goat to beat. This vote will push Tess to see she needs to play Ellie's way to compete and get revenge. 8th place goes to Will after isolating himself strongly from everyone because his pre-merge alliance was gone and being a big guy threat. It's also because Ellie and Tessa's alliance turned it on him. He probably shouldn't have gotten this far, especially since I don't have an actual story for him, but I guess I dragged him a bit. But now it's sadly time for Ellie to get 7th. Ellie is my favorite character and should have won, but that doesn't fit her story in this season. After Nick gets everyone to see she's masterminding things, but Ted was more behind it using Nick to complete his goals. Ted is going into absolute mode here, proving he's the definitive gambler and chess master over the game. 6th gets Ivy. She's targeted for her bond with Alessio. Since there are so few people left, tight connections need to go. And Ted wanted to keep Alessio close because of their bond in the pre-return challenge episode of their season. This could be a 3-2-1 split vote because I don't see how else to do it. James wouldn't vote for them, so he threw his vote on someone after getting tricked. He could have hated Nick, or Nick could have baited him. Tess could have convinced him they were all voting for him. Tess and James should have some connection here. They were on the same season and team in season All Stars. Fifth belongs to former winner James because Nick looking at Ted and thinking James was his closest ally with him. Ted wanted a former winner out, or he could begrudgingly have Gene Wythe it, seeing there was no other option. Keeping James could have been a move to keep a former winner as a shield, and Tess could have lost any chance of an alliance with him after last vote. Alessio would have no bond with him. Final four, baby. What does the king have in stored? Well, I have Nick as our fourth place finisher. This is after Ted gets Alessio to forgive him for his betrayal in the Ivy blindside and forces a tiebreaker between Nick and Ted. Tess and Nick saw him as the master strategist responsible for everything that he was. Ted beats Nick in the final four, completing Nick's arc of starting to try but coming up short and not being the absolute boss he thought he was. But sadly, Ted gets third place after a jury vote against Tess because she's more likable. Or it can be that Alessio betrays him because he is the bigger threat. Alessio has learned to play the game, which he didn't at first in the start of Carnival of Chaos. The final two is Tess and Alessio. Now, it might be bad to have the two finalists on the same tribe, that being the B tribe, because on Survivor, usually if the finalists are all on the same starting tribe, then they get all the focus in the early game edit. That, of course, doesn't apply to season 41. Thank you, Erica, and whatever tribe name you had. It is better to have a finalist from each starting tribe. That's the rule in Disventure camp. Except for ally stars, Cyan was the skunked tribe, kind of like Kahlo this season. Their highest place was Aiden in seventh, but this is my finalist, so who cares? Anyway, second and first are interchangeable with Tess or Alessio. I don't really who I want to win. I guess if a woman wins the current season, then it has to be a man the next. Alessio had a good story arc throughout the season, with him being an outsider on his original team and connecting to Ivy, then Ted at the merge. While I don't think I have much of a winner's story for Tess, besides her relationship with Hunter and friendship with Ellie and changing because of them having her breakout from lamb to lion, stupid phrase. No thank you for you, Erica. But she changed to be more assertive and game focused when on her own. I didn't really give her any moves that no one else can claim. I guess Ivy's vote with the James manipulation, but that was kind of shoehorned. She could have convinced Nick they need to start weakening Ted, so that's why they targeted James, then Ted. So I guess Tess can win immunity at 5 and 4 as the outsider and going out if don't win, but then she subtly directs the vote to James to get target off her. But that's my season. I want Tess to have the win, but Alessio might have the better story. I don't know. You guys can decide. This wasn't like a thorough episode by episode, plot by plot on how to write the season. I just came up with an outline for the placements and alliances and wrote around that as far as the characters. But I did want to give an authentic Disventure camp-like season with dynamics and conflicts for characters, just as in the show. But I hope you enjoyed the two videos. Sorry I couldn't make it into one. I hope you watched both parts and will want more. But this is the Absolute King saying goodbye.